energy, and a spiritual guide and healer who helps you reconnect with your divine presence and create a life full of purpose and fulfillment through angelic Reiki, guided meditations, and intuitive journeys across past, present, and future lives. Now, the meaning of angel is messenger, and destiny means to make firm establish. And each week, my guests and I bring you messages to help you ground divine wisdom into your everyday life. Now, in today's episode, I'm joined by Stephen Lawrence, a professional energy healer, advanced Raynor Massage Therapist, and personal trainer who spent over 30 years in a high pressure world of equity trading before answering a higher calling. Now, through a remarkable journey that began with lost intuition and healing, Steve now helps others reconnect their physical and spiritual selves for deeper purpose and self awareness. He's also the author of The Divine Dream, a captivating story of transformation that I absolutely loved. I got so engrossed in the story and the emotions it brought, and I literally finished it in one sitting. And if you enjoyed Judy Santori's Sunshine Before Dawn, then you will love this. And don't forget that Steve will have a special offer at the end of the show. So, without further delay, hello, Steve, and a warm welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Hello, Ray. I'm very good, thank you. And it's an honour and privilege to join you on this fantastic podcast you have.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And of course, to everyone watching, whether you're joining us live or catching the replay, we'd love you to be part of this conversation. So please do say hello and let us know in the comments what resonates, if you have any questions, or if you want to share your own experiences with awakening and life transitions. So please don't be shy. So, Steve, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how life's unexpected twists can awaken our true calling?
Well, it's funny, when you look back on your life and you see instances throughout it that you can now connect the dots, and we get told everything happens for a reason, and it's only with experience you can look back and think, oh yeah, and that's why. So my journey really started when I was 18, and it's just after the death of my nan. And I was in a bar with my dad and my mum, and I said, "Oh, I can feel Nan. She's here." And my dad slammed the table and he said, "No, when you're dead, you're dead. It's just blackness." And that had a profound effect on me, and that shut out any sign of spirituality I might have had. And I just had this reductionist idea that that's all that happened. And then at 21, I got elevated to a trading position. And as soon as I answered the phone to a broker, I realized I was out of my depth and I had to change my persona. And I did. And I wore a mask for the next 30 years, pretending to be a trader. I must have done a good job because I was still doing it 30 years later. But again, looking back, I can see that I created a yang persona, a yang energy to be able to handle what was going to be thrown at me as a trader. So again, I can connect all these things now, and it's quite interesting what I did during that time to protect me, if you like. So, and I realized that life is about balance. So the more stressful it got, the more I ran. The more stressful, the further or faster I needed to run. Now I'm no longer in that industry. I'd still run, but never near as much. So it's bringing the balance back, which has been important. But there were a couple of glimpses that Spirit was trying to call me during that time. So there was a time when my wife was at a dinner party with a friend of hers, and no one at that dinner party would have known me. And this woman got hold of her engagement ring and said, "Does the name Tintin mean anything to you?" Now, Tintin, you'll see, is a prominent part of my life, as I've been reading these books since I was 5. And, I wear all the T-shirts, got all the merchandise and stuff. So my wife was stunned that this woman could know that. And, it was another inkling. And then when I had a dream when my first son was conceived. And I was in this vast room with a screen in front of me. And I felt his presence on my shoulder, and we were flicking through pictures of baby faces and names. And when I told my wife it's a boy and it's going to be Robert because of this dream, she said didn't believe it, but there he was 9 months later. So those inklings were there, but it wasn't until my dad had double pneumonia a few years ago, and he was given 2% chance of living. And so I asked the doctor, what was it about his condition that they couldn't do about? And he was on every machine possible, keeping him alive. And he said they just couldn't get rid of this stuff on his chest. So I don't know why I did this or what thoughts came to me, but I found myself standing alone by his bed and pretending to send tiny biplanes down through the pipes into his chest, clearing this stuff away that I saw as this black gunk. And then it occurred to me that if I'm chipping it away, where's it going to go? So I sent other biplanes to go and pick up the debris and take it all out. So I did it in the next morning, I did it at night. I kept imagining this happening. And anyway, he made 100% recovery. And the nurses in the ICU called him the Miracle Man. And I just thought it was a miracle of modern science, until my friend Matthew, who unbeknown to me had been on a healing course in Malvern with the College of Healing, said I'd done healing. Now, at that point, I was well into my career, and anything like that was gobbledygook to me. And I just said, no, I don't believe it. So he gave me some books to read, which were Michael Newton's Destiny of Souls and Journey of Souls. And that really piqued my interest. So I did my own past life regression with a Newton-trained practitioner called Angie Noon. And you have to be careful what you ask the universe for, because I didn't ask if I was Cleopatra in a previous life or Napoleon. I asked what happens when you die. So I was given a film strip of thumbnails that I could click into and see the film in front of me. And time and again, it was watching a soul leave a body as it died. And my role was to interact with this soul and take them to the life between lives. Now, the feeling of unconditional love when I first encountered that soul is something that I've been chasing since. I can't describe how amazing it was. And it was unearthly. I just can't put it into words. So afterwards, we're talking to the practitioner, and she said, well, it's quite clear what you are then, isn't it? I said, what? And she said, well, you're a healer. Or, you're helping these souls to pass. So then I thought, okay, well, I better take this more seriously. So then I did the courses that my friend Matthew did. And so I did the practitioner plus advanced courses, which covered elementals, negative energies, and archetypes. And then I wanted to do something physical, so I learned Raynor Massage, where he identified that there's bands of energy, he calls them bands of tension running through your body. But as soon as I saw it, it's like bands of energy. So when your body's at ease, the energy is flowing. When there's problems, the energy isn't flowing as well. So that's not at ease anymore. That's what I call dis-ease. And although I've made that up, it makes a lot of sense. And it's all these little connections like that I look back on and see that that's what's led me kind of onto this path. And that coincidences, like my friend having done the healing course and me not knowing it, and then going through this past life regression stuff, they're connections. I always say coincidences are just connections waiting to be made. And so, for example, I'm thinking of writing a non-fiction book where I'm going to talk about all the energy work I've been doing, and I'm going to call it "Why Heart is an Anagram of Earth."
Yep.
Because that really points to the fact that we're connected with our Earth symbiotically, and therefore to each other. And so, that's a big lesson. So, with my healing now, one of the major things I think is connecting those dots for clients and showing them that things are for a reason. And if they're skeptical, when I tell them my story and of every the incidents that happen, they kind of think, oh, okay, well maybe there is some truth into it. And what I want to do is educate people and empower them to do their own research and to do their own inner work. Because as a healer, as you know, Ray, we can't heal. We don't wave a wand or wave our hands and they heal. you heal yourself. We are self-healing mechanisms in our body and our aura and chakras. But what we are is a conduit of the energy to help them. And I believe that using energy healing helps, if the intention is right with the client, to to speed up their own healing within their body. We're providing more energy for them. So it was to that end that I found that I wanted to write. And so 8 years ago, I was on a beach with my wife and daughter, and I saw all this plastic floating around, and it just killed me to see it. And the plastic pollution, I think, is our major problem in terms of what we're doing to the world, way exceeding anything to do with carbon dioxide. So that was a germ of a story 8 years ago, and it kind of built up with me, and I kept having dreams about it, and it was like, oh God, I need to do something with this. And so I wanted to write something that was on different levels, so someone could read it just as an urban fantasy and think, oh, that's quite nice. Or they could pick up on some of the deeper things in it and think, oh, okay, maybe there is something into it. And even if they don't believe it, they might look it up and think, oh, is there something to do with energy healing? And the more they do their own research, the more it might call to them, and their higher self might drive them to do the research and think, oh, okay, yeah, maybe this is something I should do. And so I've heard a quote that story is the Trojan horse of truth. And all our wisdoms in our ancestry would have been passed down with stories around a campfire. So I think story is the best way of promoting these kind of concepts of energy healing and reincarnation and connection. And I agree, no one's going to believe everything. But if they just think, oh, could that be right? That's what I kind of want to do. And so that's why I've written the book, The Divine Dream, which is, it deals with soulmates, reincarnation, near-death experiences, life's purpose, which we're all looking for, dreams and soul journeys, as well as involved with the environment. But one thing I did notice is that writing it was part of my self-development still. Even though I've done a 180 turn from leaving work when I got made redundant. So I'll touch on that now, because for 30 years I really enjoyed my job. In the last year I didn't at all. And now I look back, that was the universe starting to create the aggravation to get me to move. But I know that I would have stayed there unless it had done drastic action. And what it did was merge the firm I was at with another larger firm. And I moved into this massive office full of people that the energy I just did not like as soon as I went in there. And when they offered me redundancy, they said I could take a week, and I did it probably in 7 seconds rather than 7 days. And people say that was a brave thing, but when the universe shouts that loudly, you can't do anything but listen.
Yeah, and if you don't, it creates its own energy, and it will pull the rug if you don't listen.
Exactly, it will find it in the end. So going back to the book, with when I was writing it, I was determined I was going to use a pen name, and I was making up all this idea because the creator of Tintin is called Hergé, which is a spin around of his real name, which is Jules Rimet. So he took the two initials and turned them around. And I was looking at something, can I do Stephen like LAST or something like that? And then I had a thought in a meditation. I said, well, why am I hiding behind it? This is my message that I want to get out there. And so I was like, okay, I need to put my own name on it. And that was a massive thing for me. And I think that was a lot of healing of my inner child, because I've been very, very private my whole life. Never wanted to be out there. And marketing of the book is a whole new thing to me that's very strange. And like, even coming on your podcast, as lovely as it is, it's not something I would have done, or I'd have been totally scared of. But I think through the healing of the writing and putting my name to it, that's given me a lot. That's why I can appear on here and talk about it, because I think I'm quite happy to talk one-on-one with people about what's going on and what I've done and how I've changed. And a lot of people say they're impressed with that, not because it's anything clever, but just the bravery or following your heart. Um, but it's get it's getting that message out there, and knowing that I did it, and I have to stand by it, and so that's a lesson, and we're always learning, we're always healing ourselves.
Yeah, we totally are, and for those that don't know, I actually have known Steve since basically I was born. Uh, we go that we go that far back. And when Steve actually spoke to me a couple of years ago, I think it was, because obviously he's known what I've done, what my mum's done, all over the years. And then when you actually at that party, you came up and you spoke to me, I'm like, oh my God, welcome. You're here. You've joined us finally at last. Which was absolutely brilliant and amazing. And it just goes to show that, we all have that intuition, that spark in us, that idea of connecting with spirituality, but that sometimes it just takes something to actually bring it out so that we actually sparks that start of that journey and gets things moving in ways that we don't even know or realize.
I think you're right, and the thing as well, if someone said to me spirituality when I was younger, or certainly when I was at work, I would have linked that with religion. And, from an early age, I saw religion as just being a controlling thing, and I never resonated with me at all. And so to link those two meant I kind of divorced myself from those things that happened to me early on. That was, spirit saying, I'm here, come on, you are, this is what you're going to do. um, so now I kind of now I've gone through this change and this journey, and it's been through spirit showing me what what's going on, through the past life regression, through my dad's illness, and I thank my dad profoundly for doing what he did, because I believe that we choose our parents, and that they do things for us that we don't see, and his going through that, nearly dying, really shoved me into this direction. And so whenever I see him, I thank him for that. I'm not sure he's so thankful, but what was interesting, after he did recover, we went for a beer together, and he was telling me about his dreams when he was in the coma. And one of them was he was on a boat with his parents, and they took him to all these fantastic islands, and then he came back to England, and the gangplank went down. They said, "Well, you can stay with us for the rest of the time, or you can go back." And he was umming and ahhing. And then he saw me on the other side of the gangplank wearing a rainbow T-shirt saying, "Come back, come back." And so he decided to come back. Now, when I said to him, "You've had a near-death experience," he went, "Really? Ooh." And when I explained to him what what I'd learned through the all the books I'd read, and the courses I'd done in energy healing, and what I'd come to understand, he he started to come around to the fact, oh yeah, well maybe there is something to it. So then I said, well, I don't thank you for slamming the table when Nan died, when I thought she was there. And he went, well, I didn't know any different. But one thing that has really helped with as well is that when my mum died a few years ago, um, I handled that so well. If my dad had died, I would have been in bits. And so that shows that healing process in me, that when she left, I just knew she was in a better place. And I think passing my thoughts and my beliefs to my dad and my brother at that time, I think that made them feel a bit better as well. And I always say to people, not to preach, but just shine your light, and it will, people will pick up on it. And so that was a good. Well, that was sad. It was a good thing to test me. And the interesting was that I'd never dreamt of my mum, and then a few days after I died, I had 3 consecutive days of dreams with her. literally she was saying, "Yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine." And one funny thing, a few months later, I was on a run, and I said to Mum, "Can you give me a sign?" And we lived, and our door number was 83, and I was running down a road, and there were all these. It was bin day, and all the bins were on the road. And one was sticking out, and it was number 83. And I said, "Oh, thank you." And I heard this voice say, "Well, I'm still learning. I'm not that good." I said, "No, that's fine. That's good." So it's yeah, it's if I didn't if I hadn't been through this journey and my dad had died, I'm not sure where I'd have been at this stage. So, I thank him for doing that, and I'm very grateful to everyone who's interacted with my life that's pushed me and pulled me in directions that I've been meant to go.
Yeah. So, uh, do the corporate people you worked with, I mean, obviously, because this is something completely different to, working with equities and finance, etc. How did they react to this change? Do they know?
Um, some know, some don't at all. Um, the ones that know, I mean, thing with that kind of area, trading. So I was on what they called a buy side. So I was like the client of brokers, and so I'm everyone's friend. I'm paying commission, but it's shallow, and they're not really your friends. So when I left,
Oh, so we just have to wait for Steve to come back as usual. Spirit have obviously come in and have kind of like thought, okay, we'll interrupt that bit of conversation. So I think we're going to, when Steve comes back, we're going to ignore the brokers because they obviously um, aren't important to what we're talking about. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask them, then please do. Steve has come back. So hello again.
I didn't touch anything. I promise. But
I
obviously, those
know.
evil brokers,
I
that
did you
energy
know
was not.
something? When you disappeared on me, I went, "Yep, it's the brokers."
Yeah,
So
they're not to be trusted, I tell
not to be
you.
trusted in any way, shape, or form. So let's forget that we were talking about brokers. We'll forget that question because that doesn't exist.
Well, I'll give you one interesting story is that so most of them I don't speak to. There's only one that I still speak to regularly, and he is now trained to become a hypnotherapist in terms and treating people to give up cigarettes and kind of thing. And although he's not doing it as a profession as such, because I think he still needs to heal something of his inner self because he hasn't got the confidence. I think he's quite good at what he does. He's very studious and knows what he's doing, but he just hasn't got the confidence to go out and get clients and really deal with them. And I've suggested we do a joint venture at some point, but whether we'll do that or not, I'm not sure. But so I'm not the only one who's changed, but on the whole, no, no one knows, and those that do are very, yeah. But exactly as I would have been
yeah,
before I changed. So I'm not. I would never moan at them for what they think. And like I said, all I can do is shine my light. And if they know what's going on, they might after a while think, oh, actually, maybe when they have their own midlife reevaluation, they might think, oh, well, he did it. Maybe I can do it. So who knows?
yeah. That often happens as we start raising our vibration. Then other people around us they pick up those little tiny bits and they go, "Oh, okay, yeah, maybe," and they start looking at different things. So, how did the book come about?
Um, so as I say, 8 years ago, I had that spark. Um, and then I kept getting dreams about the characters and what was going to go on. So I just started making loads of notes. So I've got loads of pads like this full of notes. A lot that didn't go in the book, some did. Um, and I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And then I had a manuscript that was probably a third or 50% more bigger than the book. And so I went to a developmental editor and I said, what do you think? And he said, well, start it halfway through for one thing, and get rid of this, get rid of that. Which is a shame because one of my early readers, they really liked the first bit because that was all about the character's journey in the soul world and how she learns about the earth and all the lessons she has. But I'm thinking that I might keep them chapters, and when my website's up and running, I might post some of the chapters that precede the book. So anyone reading the book might think, oh, actually, that might be interesting to see the background to it. So
Me definitely.
so that's definitely in the plans. But it's one of a trilogy, so there's 2 more books to follow. Plus, I now I started this writing. I'm getting dreams all the time and downloading new story ideas. And I wake up, write notes copiously, and then next morning I wake up and it's like, oh, there's a story here. So while I was editing this one last October, I started writing one about witches, which I'm nearly finished with. So that might be the next one. But then I'll be working on the trilogy to get that finished because although the book does finish, there are some open ends that can lead to some adventure.
Oh yes, yeah, I want to see what happens on those other bits because it's like, oh, it's finished now. Okay, but what? Oh, okay. So I'll
Yeah.
just so yeah. So I'm looking forward to that when it actually does come out. So have you found that working with clients has really helped you? And do you find that you get particular clients coming to you with certain problems or issues, or is it just general?
Well, um, I was taught that we learn more from our clients than we do from a classroom or a lecture, and that's definitely true. I've also
Oh, and Steve's gone again, so we just wait for him to uh, come back. Um, ta-da!
those brokers got in again, I think.
I know they
I
did,
promise
didn't
I don't
they?
touch anything. So yeah, I was also taught that we only get the clients that we are capable of dealing with. The universe doesn't give us anything that is not appropriate for us. And in my dealings with clients, that has been true. But one interesting thing is that sometimes clients definitely reflect what's going on with you at the time. And so it's very important to keep yourself protected and the barriers between you because when you're tuning into them, it might be your stuff you're picking up because as I say, some of it reflects what you're doing. So that's interesting to meditate on afterwards and think, okay, why did I get that message? Was that mine or theirs? So being discerning whether it's theirs or not, asking my guides, who is this mine or is it theirs? And if there's no answer, I'll just keep stumbling and work it out afterwards. But yeah, it's a privilege to work with clients that let you join their healing journey for whatever period of time it is. And like I said, through life you have touch points with different people, and with practitioners as well. You might find a practitioner that you love and you really resonate with. Some might be there only for a few sessions, and then you find someone else. So I think it's important that we don't attach our ego to any of it. And if we see a client for one session or 100, we're just playing our part in their healing journey that we're meant to. And that's the right thing. Thy will be done. So, yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, what is Raynor healing?
So Raynor Massage was created by a guy called Brandon Raynor. He's an Australian naturopath. And he's got loads of YouTube stuff. If you look up Raynor Massage, he does loads of his work on YouTube. And so he went around the world learning all the modalities of different massages. And he went home and he listed them all. I said, okay, what do you want? And I said, well, I don't know. So he picked the best bits of them all, were shiatsu, Chinese or Swedish, and he created his own. And through that, he saw that by working just with those best parts, that there were bands of energy that run through the body. And so when I did started the healing courses, I realized I wanted something physical as well. So, and I've always liked massage. I've been interested in it and how the body works. And, you know, in terms of fitness, I've always been running and working on myself, which is what prompted me also to do personal training. But so Raynor Massage I found because that seemed to resonate with me closer to how energy works in the body. And so I've actually trained with Brandon when he did the advanced course in London a couple of years ago to get the advanced certificate. So what I do now, I combine energy healing with the massage. So, for example, I volunteer at the UCLH, which the hospital trust in London, and so during COVID, they set up a spa for volunteer practitioners to treat the staff. They're the only trust in the country that does it. So I've been there for a couple of years now, every twice a month. And so a woman came in and said, I've got a problem in my shoulder. It's probably where I'm hunched over a desk all the time. So literally, I just worked on her shoulder. And so as I'm working using the techniques that he teaches us physically on the body, I'm also thinking about and trying to tune into the energy that's running through that area and finding where the blockages are. And then with my intention is to clear those whilst working with the hands. And so afterwards she said, oh, I've never had a massage that just worked on one part of the body. And I said, well, that's what you wanted, wasn't it? That's, you know, that was your problem. That's what we work on. And so, and she said, yeah, it feels a lot looser now. And one of the principles that he has with the bands is that they're anchored in your fingers, the end of fingertips, toes, and head. And so if someone does present, if I've got more time with them and they present with a shoulder problem, we will start in the fingers and hands because that's where it's anchored. And then you use the breath to help move that energy up and out. So it's quite interesting when someone says, oh, I've got a problem with my back. You can trace the line of energy or tension that equals it all the way from their foot all the way to their head, and you can just put your finger on it. Is that? And they go, yeah. And actually, when you look at the map of it, it's no coincidence that they're on meridian lines and acupressure and acupuncture points. So, like we said, everything's connected, and I think all healing modalities have a worthiness because they're all pointing to the same thing but from different directions. And so if you looked at a globe of healing, there's 360, well, there's infinite numbers of ways of getting to the core of it. And I think, everything that is out there is worthy. And it's just whether you as a client, as a healee, it's about finding that practitioner, like I said earlier, that resonates with you and that works best for you. So.
Yeah, and that's why, it is beautiful that when more people sort of like come on and start doing all these different energy healings, even if it's people doing the same thing, there shouldn't be any competition about people practicing the same healing because the more of us there are, you've got more choice of who you go to and who you might resonate with. And if you've only got one person, you don't resonate with them, then you're not going to get the healing. But if there's somebody else you resonate with, then you're going to get the healing.
Absolutely. And, we're all connecting into the same source, really, but we all bring our own resonance, our own vibration with it. So show me 100 healers, there's 100 different ways of doing it because we're all bringing our own experience and essence into it. And so, when we, you know this yourself, but when you meet someone, you always interact and you instantly know whether you like them or not. And, that's evidence of the fact that you'll find the practitioner that resonates with you best.
Yeah, absolutely. And Claudia said hello earlier. Hi, Claudia. Glad you could join us today.
Hi.
And if there's anything, Karen, that Steve has mentioned that you want to check on, you want to ask or anything, then please do feel free to put that in there. And of course, if you are watching this on replay, then just ask any questions, leave any comments, whether anything resonated with you, or if you've got your own stories that you want to share with us. So, as you know, I do guided meditations and angelical cards. And each week I like to ask my guests whether they would like me to pull an oracle card for themselves and those watching, or do a mini guided meditation. So, Steve, what would you like me to do?
I would like an oracle card, please. I really love tarot and oracle. Last year I was at the NEC for the Mind Body Spirit exhibition with the College of Healing organisations offering free healing. And I met a lady there called Pearl who challenged me to do a card reading every day for the next year. And I've kept up with that. And it's amazing how accurate they are.
Excellent. So I will definitely, let's see what Steve and everyone who's watching this, live or the replay, need to know for their highest good at this moment of time. And of course, as people know, although I work with the past when I do the cards, it's for what you need to know for your highest good at this moment in time, because the past we learn and we heal from. And even though I work with the future, when we go into the future, it's so we can see, understand, and learn and know the steps to take. So we come back to the present, so it doesn't affect us in the present, and we can really understand who we are and what we're doing. So we have got passion and pleasure. Savor your life. How absolutely perfect for that card to
Yeah.
come out with what we've been talking about. As always, the card always resonates with what's what we've been talking about. So it is saying, Steve, what you're doing now, where you're savoring your life and all the blessings and everything that's come into it, and that you're actually now doing you're allowing your passion to come through and enjoying it is really great, because it does bring on that community energy. And for everyone watching as well, savor what you've got in your life, bring that passion, that pleasure, that joy into your life, even if it's just the tiniest little snippet, just to start that spark going, so that you can create that energy around you that really helps you move forward and be fully present, enjoying life as what we are here to do, because we chose to be here at this moment in time to enjoy our life, to experience it, to learn from it, but ultimately to enjoy it. um
I heard a saying the other day, glimmers. Look for the glimmers every day in your life. They're all around us if you only look for them. Look for the glimmers.
Absolutely. So, on that note, Steve, do you have any insights or thoughts or final words of wisdom to leave our viewers with?
So as I said, I like Oracle and Tarot, and so before I came on, I picked a card from the Angel Wisdom Tarot by Radley Valentine. Given that we're talking about angels a lot on your podcast, and so my intention was some guidance for me and the audience. And so the card that I got was the Ace of Earth. And the wisdom of that is that you can accomplish anything with positive thoughts and energy behind it. Which, again, as you say, they're always right. And that is the message, really. I think, trust in your gut feel, trust in the guidance you're given, and know that, Spirit looks after us. They wouldn't make us do anything detrimental to ourselves. And if you go with gusto and put the positive energy in it, positive thoughts get positive outcomes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Don't know if you want to switch your camera background because you've gone backwards again.
Ah,
Only because once you've done that, I love the way this happens. Um, Show people what your book looks like.
oh, the book, yeah.
Yes.
So there it is. You've read it now, so I don't know whether you'll see any clues in there that pertain to the book. So I had this designed for me by a very lovely lady, and when she did this cover, and I just said, "Can you add a few things to it?" And she went, "Oh yeah, okay," because she read the book for me as well. And so once you read it and you look back at it, you'll see, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes,
At first thought, at first look, you just see, oh, that's quite nice.
yeah, but when you actually look at it, yes, you can definitely
There's a lot of
see.
yeah, reflections.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's absolutely brilliant. A good point. So I hope everyone you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful because I know I definitely have. So if people want to connect with you, Steve, how do they do that? And do you have anything coming up and any free offers or gifts you'd like to share?
yeah, so they can find me on Instagram. For healing, it's attention for your tension. And for the writing, it's creativity novels. We're going to be doing a book signing on the 8th of November in Beckenham at the Blowing Dandelion Chocolate Shop. Her tagline is curiosity in chocolate. So if you're
Perfect.
curious about chocolate and want a nice coffee and a good book, come and find us on the 8th of November between 10 and 12 a.m. She's going to host us on that. And yeah, we're going to give away 3 ebooks.
We are. And how that's going to work is that we are going to look at both those watching live and those on the replay. So, those that are watching live, there are 2 chances for you to get the book. All you need to do is type in the comments, I'd like a copy, please. And 2 people will get that. And if you're watching the replay, the first person who watches the replay and will watch to the end to get this bit, if you write in that I would like a copy, you will also get a copy of the ebook, and you won't regret it. As I said, is an absolutely amazing book, and I'm can't wait to give it 5-star reviews that it absolutely deserves on Amazon, and wait for the next books to come out because I think that is so absolutely brilliant. I can't wait. And the story about witches, nah, that sounds like that's going to be a good one as well. Uh,
So, as I say, my tagline for creative novels is fiction for your soul. So, my ideas range between a boxing book, The Witches, and this trilogy, but they've all got the underlying themes of, our life's purpose, soul journeys, and reincarnation, and how we're guided, which is a reflection of my life. Although they're not autobiographical, they are using the things I've learned in my life and putting them in hopefully an entertaining way.
Beautiful. So, thank you so much, Steve, for sharing your journey and wisdom with us. It's been an absolutely inspiring conversation. And thank you so much for trusting me to do your first public speaking, because I'm sure there is going to be many more public speaking appearances as this book starts getting more and more recognition. People are definitely going to want to be, uh, talking about it. And don't forget, watching live or the replay, you type in, I would like a copy of the book. You will get the 3 people will get a link to actually get that book. So don't be shy about it. And of course, if you'd like to continue deepening your connection with the angels, you can download my free 5-day angel connection journey to help you open your channel and start receiving messages from your angels and guides. And for those of you wanting ongoing support and community, then my Angel Wings membership is a beautiful space where we come together for live guided meditations, supporting each other, soul nourishing practices to help you grow, heal, and live with purpose. And you'll also get access to a growing library of past meditations and teachings for whenever you need support. And we have a really active WhatsApp group where everyone just supports everyone so much. And of course, if you are ready for a truly personal transformation, then my Soul Path Discovery program is a one-to-one journey of healing and self-discovery to help you release the past and awaken your soul's gifts and align with your highest purpose and abundance. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then please don't forget to subscribe, click that bell icon, and share this video with anyone who might be looking for guidance and inspiration on their spiritual path. And remember, every time you like, share, comment, watch any of my videos, any of my work, Steve's work, any of my guests' work, you're really helping with any algorithms and getting our messages out there and being part of that beautiful butterfly effect of raising the vibration, not just of each other, but of Earth as well. And thank you all so much for joining us again. And remember, you are never alone on your journey. The angels are always with you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.